Bill, we've had 2 years, 500 witnesses, 19 attorneys, and about $30 million spent trying to prove that Donald Trump was colluding with Russia. Bottom line, he wasn't. What have we learned from it?
There is no way on this earth that Donald Trump would devote the time to colluding with anyone, much less a foreign government. His concentration span is about 30 seconds. So unless the collusion can be put into a 30-second window, not going to happen. Plus, there was no motivation for him to do it. He wasn't confident he was going to win, but he felt that he had a shot to win. He didn't need Putin or the crazy websites or WikiLeaks, and it wasn't even on his mind. So when it all first started, I went, nothing there.
Yeah.
Mueller himself, I think he knew that unless he had direct evidence that you, Governor Huckabee, me, Bill O'Reilly, and everybody else could see, he couldn't mess around with it. It wasn't subjective. He didn't have it because it didn't happen. Unfortunately, Governor, we live in an age where people believe what they want to believe, not what's true.
Yeah.
And very few of us even seek the truth, and certainly the American media does not. They don't seek the truth. So America believes what they want to believe. And if you don't like Trump, then you're going to say, well, I did something. And then if you love Trump, you go, we didn't do anything. And that's where we are.
One of the things that never made sense to me, the media's narrative was that Donald Trump didn't really want to be president. He just wanted to build his brand. He didn't expect to win. He was shocked he won. And I'm thinking, okay, if that's the narrative, but then you turn around and say that he colluded with the Russians and worked all this effort to get the Russians involved so he could win, something didn't work there. That didn't mix.
When the media says he doesn't want to win, what is that based on?
Yeah.
Some anonymous source, you don't know who it is. He wasn't sure he was going to be able to pull it off. And he was shocked that the media hated him so much. In the beginning, the media didn't hate him. The media gave him all kinds of airtime. They blew guys like you away.
Yes, they did.
Because you couldn't get that airtime.
Right.
But then, as he got more powerful and the crowds got bigger and more adamant that they wanted to vote for him, then the media started to turn. So the whole Mueller report investigation, I think, had to be done because there was so much suspicion about it, and we got to have our elections protected. Have to. I wasn't disappointed that it was done. But now that it's been proven there was no Russian collusion, I think we walk and advance the story now.
One of the narratives has been he's a racist. Now, Bill, you've known Donald Trump for decades, not years, decades. Did you ever, or did anyone in the New York area that have seen Trump during these years, ever say, Donald Trump's a racist?
No. Trump doesn't care what color you are. When he was a businessman, he wanted to make money. So if you were a Martian, he'd sell you a building if you could finance the building. Didn't care, all right? And his father was like that, and they wanted to make money. Race, this, that, and the other. He wasn't involved. It wasn't a topic of conversation at the dinner table. He wasn't involved in the civil rights movement. Trump wasn't. And he doesn't care what color you are. What he does care about is he would like to help blacks, and he feels the way to do that is to build a strong economy so that they prosper.
Yeah.
And he's been fairly successful in doing that. That seems legitimate to me.
Yeah. You've certainly been a commentator, but you've had a long time of being a journalist where nobody really knew what Bill O'Reilly thought because you reported the story.
Right.
Is journalism dead as we know it?
6 conglomerates control 90% of what the national news is. 6. Those conglomerates are mandated to make money. That's the first thing. So when you have 6 corporations running the national news flow, you're going to have ideology and you're going to have profit. On the cable news front, where you and I live, the industry has turned into a hate Trump or love Trump industry. When Trump leaves the stage, I will predict right now that whole industry, cable news, will collapse. Because all of their viewership is based upon loving Trump or hating. 95% of Fox News viewers 95% are Trump supporters. When I was there, 60% were Republicans, 20 liberal, and 20 independent or floaters or whatever. We had a pretty diverse thing. Not anymore. CNN and MSNBC, after the Mueller report, their ratings collapsed because the liberals who watched them didn't want to hear that there was no indictment against Trump.
And the credibility of some of those networks, I mean, for John Brennan to go on television, former CIA director, and say that the President of the United States is guilty of treason, a crime that, if true, were punishable by death. That's a pretty major charge to lob against a President of the United States, and then to turn around and say, well, maybe I overstated it.
Yeah.
Perhaps I was a little wrong. How bad has media played this whole story and the bigger story of America right now?
Look, it's even beyond that, because the Founding Fathers understood that if you wanted to have a democratic republic, which is what the United States is, that the people had to know what was going on. The farmers and the merchants in Boston and Savannah, Georgia, had to know what they were doing in Philadelphia. Washington didn't exist at the time, okay? And the only way they could know was if you had an honest press telling them. So they gave the press these extraordinary privileges that they could report the facts to the people so the people could make educated decisions on who they were, give power to. John Adams, second president, tried to derail that. He didn't like that. John Adams felt that the patricians, the landowners, the white guys, should really control everything, and the riffraff, we don't really want to have them involved that much. He got slapped down because of this ironclad freedom of the press thing. So over the years, America has had problems sometimes, but it was essentially there that the folks could trust what they were being told on TV and radio and what they were reading. Gone.
Well, there's more with Bill O'Reilly on our show next week when we tackle the sore lack of history in our culture and what's leading us as a nation to even consider socialism. Well, until then, be sure to visit BillO'Reilly.com for Bill's daily news analysis, his insight, and more. And be sure to consider pre-ordering his new book that's on the horizon, The United States of Trump, the most unlikely political phenomenon of our lifetimes. You can pre-order that book right now at Amazon or BillO'Reilly.com.